Hey, everybody trickling in. Thanks for joining. We'll get started in a minute as soon as everybody joins. We have so much pollen outside. Do you get pollen up there, Jill? Or did you in the Outer Banks?
Yeah, well, both places, but here, if anybody hears me sniffle, I apologize. It is finally, we're out of the frozen cold and moving right into that full green, everything's blooming, and I guess allergic to it all. So it's been fun.
Yeah. I'm totally lucky. I don't get the allergies from the pine tree pollen that coats everything here
I
here in Myrtle Beach. It is, yeah, it's just like a blanket outside.
That yellow, the
Yep.
second full spring is that the pollinating. That's on the Outer Banks. That's what we called it too, is the pollinating. It's
The
not spring.
pollen.
It's just dark yellow everywhere.
Yeah. Yep. Give another minute for see people still coming in. See a lot of familiar faces, familiar names anyway. Thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate it. Just so you know, this will be recorded. We will be sending it out afterwards. So if you do have to jump off or anything, hang tight and we'll send it over to you. Rocking and rolling.
Yeah, I'm excited to see everybody jumping in and a lot of familiar names on here. So that's great. Thank y'all for spending your lunch hour with us.
Lunchtime, lunchtime.
Sorry to put that thought in everyone's head if you weren't thinking it.
Yeah, now I'm hungry. Thanks. All right, guys, we are going to go ahead and get started. Uh, like I said, we a lot of you already know who we are. We've worked with you in the past, but for those of you who don't know ICND, we are a website and digital marketing company. We work with clients coast to coast, international, building vacation rental websites our for our clients. And Jill and I have actually been in the industry for what was our number, our magic number? 25 years combined, 30 years combined. We both worked in-house. We both at vacation rental companies. We've got decades of experience, and now we're doing marketing for ICND. And it is interesting going from that in-house to an agency vibe because of all the different things that you see, the different markets, the different data, just everything. And we're just going to show you some of the stuff that we've learned that's going to be pretty eye-opening and cool. And just going to go from there. If you guys have any questions, feel free to use the question and answer section or use the live chat, whichever you prefer. And just as we're going along, just ask the questions, and then one of us will pick it up or hold it to the end for a longer one or whatever. But all right, so let's just get rolling. All right, like I said, you know who we are, but here's just a quick look. We are still independently owned, which is awesome. One of the few companies that do marketing and websites are, and we do have a lot of different certifications and partnerships and everything like that. We do strive on making sure that we're in the know on a lot of this stuff. But today's takeaways. Let's talk about the takeaways real quick, real quick. Talking about quality traffic, quality versus quantity. We're going to talk about optimizing your booking funnel, new website features that we have for conversions. We're going to learn about EAT or EAT. as we call it now.
E
It used to
squared.
just be E, but it's now
But we
ES.
added in that extra factor. Yeah, that extra E.
Yeah. Thanks, Google. And then obviously talking about optimizing for AI because that's the hot topic, right? But we gotta crawl before we can run or walk or all that stuff. First,
So
though, let's talk about the regular user journey. Uh, we all kind of know what this is, right? This is the full like, I guess you could say the funnel. From the top down, the funnel starts with awareness and interest, and oh, by the way, all of these graphics you see, they're all AI generated. So you'll see
bear
some
with
weird
us.
stuff.
You might see four, hands on one person or, 20 fingers, but
Yeah.
a good visual representation, though, of the product user journey, which is a little bit different. Don't want to jump into the next slide, but then what we have to, deal with in our industry, the vacation rental user journey, which this is a great visual. And everyone on this, webinar sees that for the vacation rental user journey, it is many, many layers, and it is very different than a regular product user where, you go online, you search, you buy a shirt, you give them your $20 and you're done. For vacation rental user, it is a lot more intricate than that.
Yeah. Lots of different websites. They come back to yours three, four, five times before they make a booking. And they're checking the Airbnb and Verbo and they're going to your competitors. So you just gotta make sure you're the top dog. So that's what we're gonna talk about.
And
Top
then they're
dog.
stopping at that food court because the visual of the mall, they're taking a break, they're talking to their friends about you. Um, One thing that has helped us understand that the user journey for vacation rentals is so different than other product user journeys is the attribution path. This is something that you can look at for yourself if you log into GA4. It's under the advertisement section in GA4, and you can just select attribution paths. This is a really great chart just to show you visually that a user goes many different channels before they actually end up booking. So the attribution path kind of just outlines all of the touch points that a user interacts with. And this, if you kind of squint your eyes and zoom in a little, you can see we have many different touch points. So organic search, then they'll come find you, type in your name again, find you with paid search. Sometimes they go from referral traffic, and it just shows that there are many different touch points through a vacation rental user journey.
First, though, I do want to kind of talk about external factors. So, a lot of times when we talk about conversion rates or a website's conversion rate, that conversion rate is part us and part you, right? While we built the website, we are responsible for helping improve your conversion rate. But there are so many external factors that influence whether a person converts with you or even converts in your area. So, and that's stuff that's not in our control. Pricing, we can't control that. We can tell you, hey, we found some comps that are a lot cheaper, but that's not something that we can control. Things like release dates for next year. If you're releasing your 2026 rates early, you're going to get more bookings early. That influences your conversion rate depending on the month. Um, Bad analytics installs. We see that quite a bit, where it's not tracking correctly, age of your audience, seasonality. Even if your OTAs if you're heavily on OTAs and those are booking most of your peak times, but you're not getting those bookings on your website, that's because the OTAs are making those bookings. So your conversion rate itself is influenced by a lot of different factors than just your website. Keep that in mind. Now there is a link there, icnd.net/conversions, where I wrote an article that goes through all of these and more. If you wanted to jot it down, take a look. But that's it's a good read, or you can have AI summarize it for you if you don't want to read it.
Another external factor would also be, and this is something that I've noticed recently coming out, is timeshares. If you have a ton of owner blocks on multiple properties and things like that, having that organized properly on your website is a huge thing of an external factor that doesn't necessarily have we don't have much control over, but having it properly organized so you're not driving a ton of traffic to those properties that don't have any availability.
All right, so let's get into the meat and potatoes. Another great AI image. I'll let you check that out. All right, so we're going to gloss over this real quick, but the booking path on a website is fairly straightforward, right? They do a search, they get to the results page, they look at the property from that results page, then they go to the checkout page where you enter your credit card information, and then finally the booking confirmation page. Now, they'll go back and forth and all around and all that stuff. We know that. But that's the overall path when they visit your website. Just something to keep in mind as we move on, because it is important. First, though, we want to talk about minding the gap. And obviously, this is a metaphor for a gap. Now, what is that gap? The gap is lookers and bookers. Now, we all know that there are cell phones are prevalent, right? Now, most of your bookings don't happen on a cell phone, though. They happen on the desktop. But most of your lookers are on a mobile device. So, what does that mean? That means that there are people on their phones doing the research, and then they're going to their desktop to actually book, or even their
Those
tablet.
very few tablet users that still exist.
But they're out there, and they've got a 12%, on average. This is a grain of salt stuff, but this is kind of an overall picture of what the industry is like. Now, we have to mind that gap when we have to bridge that gap, right? That's the problem. And one of the other major problems is that most of your users in the vacation rental space, they are looking on their Apple phones, but they're booking on their Windows desktop computer. There's no bridge there. There's no like, it's a completely different environment. Cookies are set differently. Just everything is tracked differently. And even with Apple's new, do you want to allow access, or do the whole
Ask apps not to track.
ask not to track? Yeah, thank you. That's another factor that's going to be hindering your attribution paths and whether or not something is working or not. When you do social media ads, most of those ads are going to mobile devices, and it might be a stretch to go from that mobile device all the way to a desktop booking because of the way it's tracked and the way it's not tracked. So that's something to keep in mind too.
Yeah, definitely just how we can turn those lookers into the bookers. And I know we say that phrase all the time, but that's kind of the goal is turning people that are looking on their phone into an actual booking and convert them.
Right. And that's tough. Um, here's a good example though. This is a kind of a sample size of some of our sites, and this is a mobile device. Now, we use Microsoft Clarity to watch user interaction on the site. Now, if you haven't used Microsoft Clarity, do it right now. Install it. Go get it. Get your web developer to install it. It's free. And what it allows you to do is watch users as they navigate around your website, watch their mouse move. It's kind of creepy a little bit, but you watch their mouse move, or it makes heat maps for you. And this goes to show you that the mobile devices are the lookers because only 25% of people get past the search bar. 75% of people visit the homepage and do a search. that shows you that they're in that research phase, right?
They're at the top of that funnel, kind of trying to collect as much information from multiple sites as quickly as possible, get the list of properties that they find that they like, and then they come back. And Paul and I actually talked about this, when we were building out these slides, and that 25%, it's probably from a completely different session than the rest of this is showing. So that 25% is the people that are coming back to the website to actually vet you now. So now they said, okay, we really like that you have 3 properties that we want to book. We're going to come back and then we're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom to see if you have those trust signals that we're looking for.
Mm. I'd like to say, I mean, and it sounds kind of harsh, but when somebody first visits your website, no matter who it is, they don't care about you. They don't care about your brand. They don't care about how great you are at customer service. They care that the website is quick, easy to use, and that you have the properties that they're looking for the dates that they're looking for. That is their first task because they've got to do this 5, 6 other times on different websites to find their perfect rental. And they, like we said, they're coming back and forth, back and forth. It's not until they see that you have something that they offer do they start that vetting process, right? They start finding what Jill said with the trust signals and the reviews and all that stuff. It's that's the name of the game, right? Is we need to show them what they want as quickly and frictionless as we can. So test on your phone. That's something that a lot of us uh, don't do. And you can admit it. Just admit it. You're not at work and in work mode on your phone browsing your own website. Admit
and
it.
and this goes, not only test on your phone with different browsing apps. So you have Google Chrome, Safari, just I don't know if there's a Firefox one. I'm guilty. I don't even have that downloaded, but I do have Google Chrome and Safari, and those are really, it's great to test on multiple different search engines. So that way you understand what your user is seeing. A lot of people open and they don't even know that they have a search engine, on their phone. They don't know to go to a Google Chrome app. So testing on Safari for iPhones is a great way to see where there might be, like Paul said, friction or gaps in your strategy.
Right. And get your ask your mom, ask your uncle, ask your friend, ask your third cousin twice removed to do this for you. To give them a task and watch them over their shoulder and see how they're navigating the website. Because that in itself, no tool can provide you. You need to see how people are actually using your site and what that hiccup is. Another thing too is this is actually just started coming out, which I'm very excited about. But the checkout process, the checkout page is usually a long contact form, right? It's you got to enter in all your information, you've got to add your credit card in, and doing that on the phone. Not only a lot of people don't like to do that, but it's a pain, right? It's not fun. It's you gotta hunt and peck and you gotta find each form. And, it's no matter how you program it, it's still a pain on mobile. So, the payment processors have recently started coming out with like these one-click checkout styles that we're all starting to get accustomed to, like with Apple Pay and Google Wallet and Shop and just all of those like one-click checkouts. That's going to really help the mobile conversion rates because it's not so much of a pain. And I think that's going to be. I've been complaining about that for years. So as we get those implemented, I'm obviously we're going to test and make sure that it's working and it's working well. So
Yeah, those are definitely things that are on the horizon. And I will say it is dangerous for that one-click Apple Pay. That gets me in trouble a lot. It's just, I like it. I don't even have to think about it now. I just click, face
yeah, well, it
scan.
brings you're no
There you
longer
go.
hesitating, right? You're not hesitating anymore. Maybe you might if you're plopping down 3 grand on a vacation rental, but even so, it doesn't allow you the time to hesitate, which is awesome. So one
Hmm.
of the other things too is, like we said, they're on the Apple device, and you want to get them back because we know they book on on the computer. Now, how do we bridge that gap? So this is actually my brainchild that I came up with, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, something like that. And it's a simple on your mobile device, too busy to book now. It's either a pop-up or it's on the actual page itself, depending on how we have it configured, to where when they're on their phone, they can be reminded to come back and book. And all it is just a simple reminder for, and one, you're capturing an email address, and two, it gets you in their inbox, right? You have a actual email address now that you can use and you can actually communicate with them. Obviously, you do have to worry about spamming laws and all that stuff, so treat these as you should. We won't get into that, but I do have to mention that. But this is a big a big gap filler, right? And we see that people are coming back from these emails and they are booking. They are actually making conversions. So, simple things like that to bridge that gap, it's huge. Talk about court abandonment. Look how cutie this guy is. I mean, AI is on point.
They definitely it knows how to make you like it. Like that is a pretty cute what a blob. Blob robot.
The blob, yeah. Yeah. I told her to make a personified cart, but yeah, well, that's all
There you go. Don't leave your carts empty.
right.
That
Abandoned.
convinced me.
Oh man, good stuff. So this is actually a study done last year, and they actually do this study every year, and it doesn't have a heck of a lot of responses, but I see the top things in here every single time. And one is the extra shipping costs are too high, and one of the others that we're going to talk about is the I couldn't see or calculate the total order cost up front. Now, that first one, 48%, that's the main one. But everything else is kind of neck and neck, right? Those next five are pretty neck and neck. So other things don't really apply to us. We can't deliver a vacation rental, not us. Too long, complicated checkout process. That's stuff on us that we can fix. But the whole. So we're just going to talk about these other ones, and they're pretty big. They're pretty easy to fix too. Let's talk about sticker shock. So you remember the booking path that we showed you before? They do a search, they go to a property, they see the results page, they see the price on the results page, then they go to the property itself, and then they see the actual price. That's a 35% increase in this example. If I go back, I couldn't see or calculate the total order cost up front. That's what this is. So a lot of our clients are adopting this all-in pricing or show the full price on their search results page, not
And
even
this
before they
also,
get to the property page. Say
yeah,
again?
I was gonna add on to you. This goes in like we were talking about those trust factors. You know, if you see a certain price, you're not gonna have that easy, let me just click and book. If the price jumps or if there's any type of friction and confusion in what is actually included in that price, going from, even having it on your calendar, how it's laid out incorrectly, or once you hit that price breakdown, that is where you really want to make sure that everything is laid out pretty seamlessly for someone to review.
And that's why we've relabeled the checkout page to the price check page. So with Google Analytics, with GA4 specifically, you're able to actually see product views and then as well as add to carts and then the final bookings. So we treat this the property page as a view property and view product, and then add to cart is when they visit this final page where they put in their credit card information. Now, we've conditioned people over the years, and we as a vacation rental industry, to not have all in pricing. right? To have the final added on fees at the end. And that's where you find that final price. And because we've conditioned people, they a lot of traffic goes to these final add to cart pages where they enter in their credit card information because that's the only place that they know that they're going to see the full price. Without it being apparent up front that, hey, this is the all-in price, this is the price check page. So think about that. You want a user to have a frictionless experience, but one, you're asking them to do math constantly. Two, you're asking them to view 3 or 4 pages to see the price for one property when they're comparing 4, 5, 6 other properties. That's a lot of work for somebody, right? I
It's a
mean,
lot of numbers.
a lot of numbers, a lot of work, and if it's not easily available, then it's tough. It's just it's friction. Back to the friction. So that's why we labeled this the price check page. I do hope this changes over time as we adapt as an industry, but right now this is kind of that mentality. So think about switching to all-in pricing. And this is again on the search results page. Out the door price, however you want to label it. This is kind of the mentality. Now there are some new with the new laws, there are certain ways that these have to be displayed, depending on state and whatnot. That's a whole of this topic, but this is a just something we've seen quite a few property managers adapt to, and customers seem happy about it. Now, it's tough to gauge data as far as does it make a difference in conversion rates, but we do see that there are less pages that are viewed before a booking happens. So the average number of pages before a booking happens goes down, which shows less friction. Strike through pricing, same kind of deal. um,
And this also makes them feel like, hey, you're getting something out of it. Strike through pricing, I think, is such a old school technique, but a great thing to implement. It reminds me of, if you go to a used car lot, strike through pricing, that it's the oldest trick in the book, but it really does move the needle.
yeah. And even adding in, even this example, they do still have the plus taxes and fees. Now you could mesh the two and have the all-in pricing with the strike through, but it's just that psychological factor. And the you save part there that you see, it is do the math for the guests. That's what I always say. Don't make them do the math because they see that monetary savings value, and it's a lot it's a bigger again psychological draw. I would click on Sip of Sunshine before Maritime Lore just because I'm saving more.
Yeah, you
It's a
think you're
better
getting
deal,
more bang for your buck. It
right?
definitely is one of those psychological things of showing the value that someone is saving and saying, "Hey, this house is really expensive normally, but you can have it just today, just this week for this price." And I would click Sip of Sunshine too.
Yeah. All right, so you guys may have seen this case study before. We do like to show it quite a bit, but this is one of the examples that we have about reducing friction. So here's an example of a was way that we had rates displayed. Now you can see that there are, there's the rent, there's the damage waiver, there's the processing fee, there's the linens, then there's the travel insurance, taxes, and then the total. Now here's where the real confusion comes in. When you look at this, you're like, all right, well, is the travel insurance really optional? Because the total's down there. Is it adding in everything that's up there? Is it really optional and then what about the linens? Do I have to add those on? Can I bring my own? So we changed that and we made it just a lot more seamless. Nothing really else needs to be said. It was this is optional travel insurance, optional linen rentals, and when they click those check boxes, that total changes dynamically on the spot. So we implemented this, and it saw a increase of 200% conversion rate just by fixing how rates are displayed.
It's such a
Big difference,
small thing, but it makes a huge difference. And we don't
right?
even think about it all the time when you're looking at the website. You're not thinking of these little things, but just having that button click and having the number change, what my total fee is, if I want this or if I don't, and giving a guest that option of saying, I want to bring my own linens and I want you to tell me what the price is exactly before I give you my credit card number. I think that is just, again, trust is, developing that trust with a guest saying, I feel comfortable giving you my money now.
Right. Got another quick little case study as well. And this goes back to the booking path. So on your search results pages, there is the option of having a book now button or a view property details button. So we had a few clients that we did a test on that we put both of these buttons on there and we saw which one got clicked the most. Now, as we said before, that booking path, search results page, property page, booking page. If we skip that property page, which is what this book now button does, nobody wants to book now from your search results page. They want to go look at the property. And we can see that pretty evidently right here, 251 versus 8 clicks on those buttons for view property details. So wording matters as well as how your path is laid out. You don't want to disrupt that path. Now, you and Jill, we've probably seen this too. Like we in the industry have those homeowners that do like to have that button, or maybe there's your reservation agents that like to have that button, the book now button, and you can have both. But if you want to try to save room, which is important on mobile, fight with them about that book now button. You don't really need it anymore. You're
Yes,
disrupting the
definitely.
booking.
People are clicking that view property details. You don't want to just go from this, thinking of your search result page where you have all of these properties show up that match your criteria, and then you're scrolling through and you're not immediately going to book. You want more details. So the wording, like Paul said, the wording matters and having that booking path seamless. So that way they're not going straight to the booking page and then saying, oh, wait, no, that's not what I meant, trying to exit out, go back, especially if they're on mobile and just searching. This could create an extreme amount of friction when they're on mobile and a new tab's opened. If, different generations using Safari, I think adding that view property details button instead of the book now, clearly with the data, it is a game changer.
Let's talk about filters. Filter overload.
And this is another wonderful AI generated image, which clearly shows AI is great for many things. And filters, this I just think this is hilarious because you can't visualize filters, but we've got coffee filters, car filters,
Yep. Air
AC
filters.
filters, maybe.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So it's a question for you guys, and I want you to put it in chat if you don't mind. Everybody, bring up your chat window, hover over at the bottom, and I want you to answer. On average, how many times does a main search results page that has the properties after somebody puts in their dates, how many have zero return results? How many times does that happen? Give me a percentage. How many times do you think that happens?
That somebody puts in all of, their criteria and everything like that, and then nothing shows up.
Is our chat working? Nobody? Nobody
I
wants
don't
to
know. Is it
nobody
working?
wants to participate?
'I'll send one. 0%. It works all the time, every time. There are no wrong answers.
Oh, thank you, Kathy. Let me should have turned that on beforehand. You can put it in the question and answers though. Question and answer section.
I'm glad to know that y'all were trying, though.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got a lot in here. We've got more than 50%, 50%, 5%. These are
All
pretty
right. Enough
good.
cliffhanging.
Y'all,
Enough
y'all are
cliff.
pretty close, actually.
Yeah. So about 59% of the time from the sites that we've looked at, and we have other sources as well from um, other companies. 59% of the time, people are getting zeros whenever they put in their dates and criteria. And here's an example of it. Here's just a snippet of one of them that's, all of these. There's if you look at the event count on the right side, you can see the number of times that date range was searched for and the number of properties returned. And this is super helpful for a lot of reasons. Now, we're able to track this stuff, guys. We're able to see what users are typing in. We're able to see what their criteria is, what the popular amenities are, what the popular dates are, and we can filter all that stuff out and we make some pretty nice reports out of this stuff for you guys. Now, one of the things that we look at though is the number of properties returned. And we see that just in this example, there's a lot of zeros and a lot of ones. And that's just telling me that one, there's something wrong with the search process. Two, there could be something wrong with you might not have inventory and that could be fine. There's a lot of different reasons why you might have those zeros. But if it's because people are amenity happy or they're searching for maybe a 2 night stay and you only have a 3 night minimum, and they're getting zeros, that's stuff that you can, even though you might not want to bend on your policy, you can look at this data and say, wow, there's a lot of people searching for a 2 night stay. I could just charge them the 3 night price. Why don't I work with my web developer on that to just show that 3 night price if they put in a 2 night stay? So there's a lot of different things that you can use this data for, but it's a pretty scary number that so many people are getting zero search results. And we have a fix for that. Stay tuned. But here's an example of too many filters. Too many filters. You know,
And I
um,
think, yeah, I think I'll add on to what you said, Paul. I think that this is such an easy thing to happen because as, working in your PMS and working with the property owner, you're receiving a ton of different details about what this property has, an ironing board, hot water, there are different things and you might want to list them in the property description so you have a really clear property description and have things that stand out. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be in your refined filters. As you can kind of see in here, I think it should have hot water. Maybe you have one property that doesn't. Maybe it's out, really far out and it is a hunt club. Who knows? But that one maybe shouldn't be listed as a filter for the exact reason that we're talking about because people get amenity happy. They think, I want to plan my dream perfect idealistic spot and that might not exist, but if there was one filter away, like hunting or having an ironing board, that's not really a deal breaker. Oceanfront, pet friendly, that would be the deal breaker. But an ironing board I can live without or bring my own, and that's not going to make or break, but it could make or break the results. And then they see zero results and think, oh, I'm in that, top funnel, just searching, looking phase, and I'm going to leave and go find something else somewhere else.
Right. And it's a psychological thing as well, because if you're presented with this big list, you kind of feel like you have to check those things sometimes, because the programming logic behind this stuff, if you think about it, if it's an and or an or, like going through here, looking at this right now, am I saying I want a hospital and hot water and hunting and being laptop friendly? What's not laptop friendly?
Sounds like a
And
fun vacation.
but besides that, um, and the library, or is this an or do I want hospital or hot water or hunting or laptop friendly? So a lot of times, depending on the website, there are they're set up differently. So you do have to keep that in mind, that your users might just be genuinely confused about how your programming logic is set. Something else to think about.
And that goes back to, one of our previous slides of use your own website and ask people to use it and constantly go look and see if, the right results are populating, if this is clicked or that, and that can make a really big difference.
So just real quick, funny. But yeah, so having too many amenities could be a problem, right? So you're gonna have to fill in for me on who this is, Jill. I
I
was
forgot I
never
put
a
this in here.
I was never a KonMari.
Totally forgot about this. The KonMari approach, right? Clearing everything out, cleaning it up, and making it as easy and stress-free for anyone as possible. Um, so I think it's the Japanese art of decluttering is KonMari, if anybody knows about that. But that's why we put that in there, and I forgot about it.
Is it the if it doesn't make you happy, then get rid of it
Yeah, if it
approach?
doesn't bring you joy,
Bring
get rid
joy.
of it.
That's the one. Yep. Yep.
So as we just saw on the other slide, I think it was that water boy, his mom, eh, amenities are the devil, so they do not bring us joy. Get rid of them, throw them out. And this image is just depicting that not only on the refined search, so when people get to that second layer of search results on your website in that, main section, you do want to you want to remove some of those filters, but also like we showed in the very beginning of our slides, that heat map of saying most people are going to be clicking on your quick search from your homepage, and you do not want to pigeonhole them right from the gate by having way too many filters right from the start. Um, Simplicity is better. I know there's been so many, different changes and things that we have the ability to add all of this to the homepage, which is great, but we don't necessarily need to. We got excited to add it all, but you don't necessarily have to have it all there.
Right. Yeah, our last when we did this experiment, I think it was a 38% increase of people not getting zero search results, just by removing the illusion of choice in that sense. So because they're there, people will use them. And like Jill said, they'll pigeonhole themselves. And just by keeping it simple, we were able to increase the number of results that were returned. And then they can filter them down a little bit further. Get the properties in front of them. It's
Yeah,
up to you
show 'em what you
guys how
have
you want.
first.
Yeah. It's up to you guys how you want which ones you want to get rid of, but go with what the masses are looking for. If most people are looking for dates and bedroom size, then just roll with that. Here's another example too of something that's just important. Again, back to the list of filters. This was a client that they were having trouble. Well, every beach client has trouble filling their non-oceanfront properties, right? They, the second row and back, the ocean views, the third rows, the if it's not oceanfront, it doesn't fill up as well. So why? Well, they were labeled as off ocean, which is pretty ambiguous, right? Off ocean, how far? Is it a mile? Is it a football field? Is it just off the ocean? Like, what does that mean? So we changed the label to walk to beach, and it went from the least searched, least filter clicked to the second most popular filter click by a landslide. Oceanfront, you see, is still obviously the number one, but by changing it, the labeling to walk to beach, it got a lot more interaction and
Yeah, and
helped
I
fill
think
up
I
those
think this
properties.
this is a great example of, as property managers, vacation rental managers, you're thinking, everybody is thinking in this industry more in line with what we know as industry experts in the vacation rental space. So off ocean, that's more of a technical term, or second row, third row, west side. These are things that your vacationers, they aren't going to think of. They just think, I want to be able to walk to the beach. I want to be able to walk to this restaurant or walk to a bar, those types of things. They're just thinking more in the vacation rental mindset instead of as the, owner or property manager.
And if you live at the beach, you know the vernacular. If you don't live at the beach, you don't know the vernacular, which is where your people are
And the
coming from.
same with the mountains, off resort or on resort, those types of terms as well.
Yeah. All right. So one of our solutions for this, let's say that we've tried to cut down on filters as much as we could, but they're still getting zero search results. One of our solutions is suggested searches. And this is a new product that just came out that's just absolutely awesome. Shout out to Chris on our team for coming up with this one and helping flush it out. It is if you do get hit with zeros, we have this new feature that we're able to show different number of properties depending on which filter you want to remove or which filter you want to make sure you keep in. And this shows up just below that zero number so that they can continue this search. And we force them down a funnel that says, hey, you don't need to have that uh, laptop friendly rental. Pretty staggering numbers, though. 47% of the people that used 40%, 7% of the visitors actually interacted and used that suggested searches feature when they got a zero search result. So half the people used it whenever they got it. And it resulted in an additional $1 million
Yeah, this is
in
a game changer. I mean, the filters also, updating and removing your filters is a game changer. And then adding this is just kind of like the icing on the cake of conversions. This is how you get those leads to not leave your website. And, it's not like you're slamming the door in their face saying, zero properties, sorry, you put in two nights and we only do three. You're offering other avenues for them to go down. And I think that is a huge game changer, clearly, with the 47%.
Yeah. And it just goes to show you too that we are on that cutting edge and trying to think, it's not AI is not everything. It's just sometimes the simple hand holding that we can do with websites and with the users by analyzing what they're doing and what they're not doing, what we think they should be doing is kind of all you need to do. And that's the stuff that we really, really like to focus on. But $1 million, that's awesome. That's awesome. So next is we're gonna have to speed up. Catch the lookers, not just the bookers. Uh, this is just along the lines of, we don't expect them to book every single time they visit your website. So there's tools that we have that do allow them to, we can convert them as a looker and then later convert them into a booker.
And this is just a quick list of a few of those modules that you can kind of add on and use to create, to capture that lead. From the remind me to book, price reminders, cancellation notifications, quick chat, login for saving favorites. I like that one, but I think it's pretty tough to get people to log in unless they're a repeat guest, which does happen occasionally. And then simple contact forms and not necessarily annoying pop-ups. I know that's a big discussion, but discreet pop-ups that are well placed and don't get in the way.
Yeah, don't get in the way. Like that one. So let's talk about some pop-up etiquette. Now, we know that pop-ups are everywhere, and unfortunately, they still work. But you do have to do them correctly. You do have to make sure that they are not introducing more friction than not. Um, Pretty simple, self-explanatory stuff, but you'll be surprised how often some of this stuff is overlooked. Again, use your website on your phone and use it on a desktop. Pretend that you don't work for that company and go through the motions. You know how many times I've seen the X like hanging off the edge of the screen on my phone to where I had to push right in the corner in order to get it to close?
I always try, make that X as big as possible. If somebody doesn't want to convert or have you have their email address, you don't want their email address because that's going to mess with your open rates. It's going to mess with, it's going to create unsubscribes. So if they don't want to give it to you, you don't want it either. We don't want to kind of be that aggressive salesperson in the, kiosk trying to get their business. If they don't want it, we don't want it.
Right.
Um, I think that's a good rule of thumb. We want to give them that out if they don't want to give you the email address. But also using, discreet ways. It doesn't have to pop up in your face. We can have one, the banner style pop-ups that are sticky that stay on the top of the screen that allow the guest to scroll around like this one here and don't have a lot of information to fill out. Just a quick let's connect and then submit. Nobody wants to, tell their life story with a pop-up or a contact form. So just getting that email address is kind of the goal.
And please stop popping up 2 seconds on the homepage. We just showed that most people go to that search bar first, and they do that within 5 seconds of your site loading. And if they're in the middle of picking their dates and they get a pop-up, that's annoying. Besides, you don't want their information anyway because they're just lookers at the point. They're one of the thousands and thousands of people who are doing a search. You would rather have a qualified audience of people that have maybe been down the funnel a little bit, looked at a couple of properties before you hit them with something in your face that gives them a special, or then they're interested in your brand. That's when you want to try to get their email address. And then there's, obviously we have pop-up modules that we've developed, and then there's third-party tools as well that have a lot of advanced features that can be implemented for any website, not just an ICND one. All right, pushing along property detail page. We talked about this before. Quick, easy, if you guys want to take a screenshot of this one, but definitely don't have the toilet loading on the. This is actually an AI generated image too.
And this, yeah, and this is a good thing. I know, having that first image displayed, that's kind of what this is depicting. Is you want to make sure that first image that you're displaying is the, call to action that gets that click, that gets them, from the search result page into that property description page and show them what they can have. And, that goes with both, but obviously having high quality resolution and good converting photos like the exterior image, a pool image, something like that over that, one bedroom shot that shows the bathroom in the corner. That is going to be a big converting factor.
And just so you know, AI is able to visit your website and look at pictures for your properties too. We'll get more into that in a bit. Quality traffic versus quantity. So, do we want everybody or do we want the people who are probably going to convert? Let's talk about that real quick. Um, I won't get into this too much, but I'm just going to talk about conversion rates. The industry average, this is a session conversion rate that I'm talking about here. It's around 5.5% to zero point 0.6. Every site is completely different. Depends on if you have real estate, if you have a lot of blogs, if you have a lot of things to do, what are your landing pages? That affects your conversion rate, as well as all those other things on the article that I mentioned before. But increasing that conversion rate, from zero point 0.5 to zero point 0.6, that's a big increase. I mean, even going from zero point 0.4 to zero point 0.6, that's a 50% increase, and that could equate to a lot more bookings. So that's why conversion rate does matter. Now, user conversion rates is a bit different, about 3%, anywhere from 1 to 3%. Really depends, again, on the website, how it's being utilized. But quality versus quantity, you know, the do's and don'ts, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I think I'll add on to what you were going to say earlier about the it depends on the traffic that's coming. That's the conversion rate where that shift is. If it's a lot of traffic that's coming for restaurants or blogs or things to do pages, and that kind of depicts the quantity, right? So that's a lot of traffic, and your conversion rate is going to reflect that you have a lot of traffic coming to the website, quantity, and it might not necessarily be conversion focused traffic. So I think that's the key here is both of these, quality traffic and quantity have benefits. But if you're trying to move the needle and drive conversions quickly, you're going to want to focus more on quality. And that quality is going to have, those high intent keywords like pet friendly, your area vacation rentals, oceanfront, your area vacation rentals, ski in and ski out, your area vacation rentals, things those types of terms. And then if you do have the time and you have the resources, adding in that quantity and bringing in, those best places to eat in this area type of blog post or updating your things to do module, creating those events pages for those annual events that happen, holiday pages, things like that. Those are going to be that quantity of traffic, and it is beneficial based off of eats, right? Google does care about experience and expertise, and they want that rich content. But if you're trying to move the needle, quality is where you really have to start.
Master the quality. If you ever have a marketing company that comes in, they want to build a whole bunch of blog posts and whatnot for area things to do, fire them. Sorry.
Just to the point.
First thing you need to
That's
focus on is quality and high intent keywords for any company, no matter what it is. So, all right, talking about Eat real quick. This is a part of the Google's algorithm. Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trust. You can accomplish these things, and this is stuff that you guys can do. Your About Us page. You need to show your uh, community involvement. You need to show that you have great reviews. A lot of it, go to your about page right now, and if it's a one paragraph of something and a picture that doesn't have anybody's face on it, redo your about us page. There's all these trust factors that we see that are contributing to Eat and your authoritativeness. Now, experience is the new E in the Eat, that first one. Experience is something that AI cannot ever replace. If you are writing from an experience standpoint about what it's like to experience your vacation rental, you're going to have a much higher, much You're gonna have a leg up once AI starts really taking over. Do you have anything else you want to add to that, Jill?
Yeah, I think just adding on to experience, expertise, authoritativeness. Another way we talk about, you're building trust with your audience, but something that is always mentioned is backlinks. So, talking about backlinks, an easy way to do that is to build authority in your area by just connecting. There's no secret sauce. There's no, what are they? How do we get them? It's, just connect with local restaurants or businesses like rental company, equipment rental companies, things like that in your area and develop that, mutually beneficial relationship where you have a link on their website and you can give them a link on yours and that's a backlink. That shows the authoritativeness that you're looking for and trustworthiness. And if you connect with your community and a lot of these, companies that your audience is searching in your community because they're coming to visit, they see that you're linked on those websites. That shows your audience that you're trustworthy, but it also shows Google that you are someone that people feel comfortable sharing a link with. So there's no real secret to backlinks, but just reaching out to people in your community and saying, we'd love to have a link on your website and we'll give you one on ours.
Did you know only about 28%, 26% of people who visit your website actually visit the specials page? That's why we say use specials during the funnel. Have some sort of banner or the strike through pricing or however you want to do it, but inject that savings during the process because it's rare that they're going to actually visit that specials page, even though it might be in your navigation. They, again, search for the property and then go through the process. I've actually been guilty of this as well, like ordering things online, although it was a lot cheaper, but ordering things online, but then realizing, oh, I could have put in a coupon code that's on their website in a banner at the top, and I just completely missed it. So it does happen. So injecting that savings is huge.
Yeah, and adding that, that little mark on the home, on the search result page and that banner, that way it kind of captures them at the very top, sticky banners that sit up there, similar to that pop-up, but it just takes them to the specials page. That's a great way to kind of get those people to convert that are really just deal hunters. If I had a special and I see a special, I might not even want it and I'll buy it just because of the savings, you
Just 'cause
know?
yeah, exactly. That's why Timu is winning.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about AI. We could go on for a long time about that one. Um, but unfortunately, we're already 4 minutes over. So, as a real quick kind of the ways you can prepare for AI, and there's a lot of talk about this. Uh, everybody's saying use structured data, use schema markup, use microdata, all that different kind of stuff, and that helps AI. Now, there's also studies out there that show that when these crawlers look at your website, they're not looking at schema. They're not looking at structured data. They're stripping out text and text only, and they're using that information. Let's start with that because you guys can't do schema, but you can worry about your text. You can worry about your property descriptions. And one of the things you can prepare for is you're going to have to start rewriting your property descriptions sooner than later. And you're going to have to write them from an experience standpoint. That's something that AI can't regurgitate for you. And the reason I say that is because there's are already, I don't know if I can bring up this. Let me see if I can drag this over here. So this is a chat GPT, and this is a deep research. I put in, I'm looking for Panama City Beach. I have two couples, four children. I didn't specify bedroom size. I said I wanted balcony access from both master bedrooms. Be nice if it was within walking distance, give me pricing, blah, 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 blah. It asked me some follow-up questions, which I thought was awesome. And then it went through its spiel. It took 17 minutes and it looked at 51 sources. And these are the different sources and information. This is its thinking right now. It's thinking about all of this stuff and it's telling me how it's thinking. It found, okay, so it found it's a sure thing. It's searching for just through different four-bedroom setups. It's looking on Airbnb. It's looking at TripAdvisor Canada. It's looking at individual properties. It's going through all this different phase and it's looking for my long request. It wasn't dates, it wasn't amenities, it was very specific niche things. So what it came back with was a four-bedroom, four-bath, Gulf front condo with two master suites opening to a private balcony and panoramic ocean views. If you do not list that kind of stuff in your property descriptions, it's not going to find it. And what we mean by that is you're going to need to start thinking about what people are looking for as they're conversing with AI. And this was actually correct. You went to this site and it showed two master bedrooms.
With
It
direct
was not
access.
available for the dates. Oh no, actually this one was. Another one wasn't that I looked at. But that's going just showing you, oh no. Here, we'll go back. It just showing you all the different examples. And this is kind of where we're going. This is kind of the point. This is what's going to be happening. And it's going to be able to search for availability and whatnot and bring back pricing. Now, there's some error in here. There's some of this stuff is not 100% accurate, but we could not do this 6 months ago, but now we can. I did this with Gemini. I did this with Grok, and I did the deep research, and they all came back with different things, but they all looked at the text that's specifically on the page, the property management page. So super important for stuff like that.
And I think, one reason that this is very important isn't necessarily your guest specifically might not be searching through using ChatGPT, but we have seen research recently of, this is ChatGPT, Gemini, they are listed as referral traffic for bringing in people to your website, which is a huge, change in our industry of how people are searching, but also the introduction of travel agencies. That's kind of making a little bit of a comeback. So people, there's just so many options out there. People are kind of saying, I'm not exactly sure what I need to look for, and they're going to a travel agent for help. And a travel agency is absolutely using these types of tools, or they're using ChatGPT and Gemini as a travel agent, to help them figure out and go comb through all of the search results that happen on Google or any other search engine. And it is making a big shift in where your traffic and that organic traffic is coming from. So currently, it's listed in GA4 not as organic, but we still know, it's listed as a referral source. But it would still, in a sense, be organic because they are finding you in an organic way. But the referral traffic is coming from ChatGPT or Gemini or one of these other AI language models.
I was happy that, and well, I was happy that ChatGPT is actually the only one that is adding in a UTM code to all the links that they have, and but Gemini is not, which is really weird. Gemini is a Google product. Anyway, I
It
won't
should
get into
be.
that. Yeah. All right. So wrapping up, guys, and we're over. So we've got a super secret hidden bonus feature
For
coming soon to a website near you.
for anyone that made it this long and actually bared with us for the 10 minutes over, thank you. This is our new bonus feature that you get to unlock because you actually stuck around.
Yeah. So this is something for our websites, ICND websites, and we're going to be rolling this out pretty soon. And it's called Back to the Searches. Why did that not? There we go. Back to the searches. Um, so one of the things too, again, is when somebody comes back to your website, how do you get them re-engaged? Now, if they come back to the site, they have to enter in dates again, or they have to go through this whole process. But if we can remember them and show them something simple to pick up where they left off, or keep looking at the property that they were looking at. We've had the cart abandonment for years, and it works very well too with the banner at the bottom and view the property that you left off at. So we're in the process now of adding on to this and making a kind of an in your face when they come back to the website to make that process easier for them to pick up where they left off. So they don't have to enter in the dates again. They don't have to think about the properties that they viewed already. They can come back and get done what they need to get done, and that's booking the condo. So this is coming out, or booking the rental. This is coming out soon. So keep an eye out for it, guys. If anybody wants to be a guinea pig, let us know. 'Cause it should be really good. All right, so we went over, but hopefully you guys got some good stuff out of this. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot us an email, or you can ask stuff in the Q&A real quick. We can hang on. Or if you just want more website and digital marketing tips, check out the checklist with the QR code.
Yeah, hopefully, everybody that was able to stay on, I know we went a little longer, but was able to take some really good information away about how to drive those conversions and get, not just clicks, but also bookings on your website. There's a lot of really good stuff in here. So if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us and ask, anything that you want. I know we threw a lot at you. There was a lot of slides in here.
Hmm. And we're open books. We like teaching and learning and all that stuff. So we'll be up front with you. Yeah, if you need anything, let us know. If you want to see the previous webinars that we've done, check these out. You can scan that or go to that URL as well. All right, guys, signing off. Appreciate you joining. Appreciate you staying. And till next time, happy bookings.
Bye. Are we still in the webinar?
I think so. I can't find the button. It's gone. This will be a good blooper for everybody.
Yes. Anybody that's still there, ask a question. No. Thanks, Ketty.
Just gonna